Hey guys, it's PK here with Toby, Sexy Thanos, PSBA Season 4 Power Rankings. What's up?
Hello.
Alright. Alright, I'm just gonna get right into it. Most of these, just actually a disclaimer, all these things are mostly opinions, although my opinions are facts. Just don't take it to heart because even if you have a bad draft, and there's a lot of bad drafts, you can still make playoffs and you can still win this whole thing. But just know that you're all most of your teams are pretty bad. So let's
They're all garbage.
let's just get into it. So at 14 we have Plasma. I mean, this is not much of a surprise.
He's got three electric types.
It's I don't know what Pin Kurin Chin's real stats are really are, but from what I can vaguely remember, it's not really that good of a mon.
It sets up the terrain with electric surge, and then it's like Pyukamuku, but it has attacking moves.
Yeah, see, for that, if it was more like Muko with I mean, not even it doesn't have unaware, but like I get where Lucha comes in, but like look at your speed tiers, right? Lucha has unburden. All right, that's a thing, but that's only for one moment in the match, and that isn't a speed tier. That's just really a game plan in its own self. And then you have Mew, who has to
Yeah,
fill in so many holes for every match. Like Mew's supposed to fill in a lot of holes, but only one hole per match. Yet your Mew has to do so much and it only has four move slots, where it doesn't make sense. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, you can go. My fault.
Oh no, no, it's all good. Yeah, like there's just a lot of weird picks. Like I know the Cinderace.
It's a cool mod.
That thing's. Yeah, it's cool. It's Halucha in the terrain. That's gonna be cool. Kind of confused by some of the picks though, like Arctizolt.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Not,
Where's your like? It's a slush rush mon, and you're not even
yeah,
running a hail team. And Superior is a bit odd as well. I mean, I guess it fits in. It's not a horrible mon, but it's just odd. I mean, don't bring steel types against him. He has six resists, but like
yeah,
your Mega Steelix, like you have no recovery within your defensive mons other than Mew, and yet you still need Mew to play offensively, and it just doesn't work because all your mons are just either mediocre or just bad. So
yeah. Like to beat this team, you just need an electric type and then something with Earthquake. That's
yeah,
all you need.
it,
Um,
I'm just gonna move on. But uh, and you need yeah, I'm just gonna move on. I can't. All right. Next we had Cat, super bad Cat. Again, all these things are interchangeable, but at number 13 we do have Cat. I mean, there's not much to say other than you do have a Mega Blastoise, but Mega Blastoise, you have a good defensive core with Blastoise,
yeah,
Tangrowth, Heatran, Delamise. It's even, but even then, like Blastoise has to play offensively and has to click Shell Smash every damn match because
yeah,
there's no speed with other than Garchomp, and Garchomp's gonna have to run Scarf. Um, and are you gonna run Heatran Scarf all the time or no? Because you have Z Heatran, but hmm, speed tier wise, this is not that well.
yeah. Well, I can see what he was going for with the Hatterini, and then he has all these Somons. It's
Mm-hmm.
obviously supposed to be Trick Room, but
Yeah, it, it's a
I
Trick
don't
Room
know.
team, but I don't think Blastoise does well in Trick Room.
No, not really. It's much better off just playing a bulky attacker, and then with Shell Smash, it can now run speed effectively.
And Conkeldurr, like Conkeldurr doesn't hate Trick Room, but like it doesn't really need Trick Room either. It's there to
No.
click bulk up, and then like I guess you want to hit close combat or whatever. Like, but really you can't. There's not enough time for you to switch into Conkeldurr, then click bulk up a second time, and then like that's the reason why it has Mach Punch and this type of stuff. But your hazards are
Yeah.
his hazards are good. Like Garchomp and Heatran are good has like rockers. It's just you're gonna have to run Scarf with maybe even both of them every match, and it's just I don't know. This
Yeah, that's a real drain. I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about the Dreadnought pick either. It was just kind of
was that Water Rock.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
Water Rock. It gives him a four-time weakness to grass, which
yeah.
he has plenty of things that can switch into grass moves, but it just
Doesn't it doesn't
aside
vote well.
It's good if you Gigantamax it, but since that's
Mm.
banned, I don't see why it was even picked.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, I'm just gonna move on again. Number 12 right now. We have Pasty.
The boy, the legend.
With Pasty, he has good rockers, but his removal. So I'm looking at his team right now, and I say,
Yeah,
okay, he has no speed. Raiku's his only other than that, his
yeah,
rockers are terrible, and his team is built for the long term game. Yet he has a Volcarona and a Charizard, and I guess
yeah,
you're not using Charizard like most matches, but even then, like Volcarona, like that's your only offensive threat. Like Raiku's a good offensive mon, but like with sheer raw power, it's really not that great. And Pelipper contradicts Volcarona, and Pelipper is your only real defogger. So you're gonna have to bring it every match, unless you don't want to bring a defogger and then like.
and then lose both of your like
Mm-hmm.
like your Charizard, your Volcarona. Those both lose 50% on switching.
And then you have to play the long term game, and you never win the long term game without a defogger and hazard removal, because you don't want to take that extra damage that helps you lose the long term game. So like
Yeah,
synergy
and
wise, it's not a great team, but I mean
yeah, it's predictable. The Dracovish is going to be bringing Scarf every week
that's true.
because
It doesn't have has Swift Swim, right?
no, it's Sand Rush.
Sand Rush. Oh, what? What
Yeah,
the Pellet for
yeah,
doing here?
yeah. The fossils are either Sand Rush or Slush Rush.
And then I thought one of them was Swift Swim.
I
I swore one of
I
them was
could
Swift
be
Swim.
mistaken.
Yeah, I know it's not. It wouldn't be Dracofish then. It would probably be
Yeah,
the. Yeah, I think you're right. I know you're right.
yeah, but the I don't know. The Dracovish is a scary mon. I mean, throw a scarf on it and then just fishious rend
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah, I know. I
But
saw that Blunder video. Pretty hot.
yeah,
I mean, he he does like it has Dracofish. Even as a Scarfer at 75, it's still not outspeeding like 130 mons, like
oh yeah,
135. Like it's revenge killing is gonna be hard on this team as
yeah. This
well.
thing's getting walled by by Coco.
Oh
Easy.
yeah. All right. So speaking of Coco and you, next at 11 we have Toby, Sexy Thanos. So I guess I'm gonna just speak on this and you can like rebuttal to what.
Oh yeah,
So I look at this team and I'm like, okay, Coco, like that's a good mod. And then the rest of your team, I'm like, this Coco, like, how does this help Coco? Like, Toxapex, your defensive core is there. Like, you have annoying defensive mods, and Buzzwell's even defensive in its own right. But how does this, like, Coco, they share weaknesses with Coco, and Coco can't safely switch in, and then you have no momentum other than Incineroar and I guess Star Raptor. Then, like, Ditto's a good mon versus Sweeper, but your team doesn't really lose to Sweepers. I mean, obviously every team loses to Sweepers. It's just that there's easier ways to beat your team with through hazards and that type of stuff because your only hazard setter, assuming that you can't bring default Coco, is Hitmontop. And then I guess Magic Bounce Absol, but like that's an nature for Absol because have you seen its defense stats? It's not that
yeah,
great. So yeah, fairy. You have two good fairy resist, even though you're pretty weak to fairy. But I don't know. All around, it doesn't seem well synergy wise. But I mean, it could do. You could. I'm just saying you could do better. And your offense, there's no real offensive pressure other than Kiram, because Coco's a good offensive mon. It's just good for offensive teams to fit in and set the terrain, and you don't abuse that terrain. And
yeah. This
yeah.
is pretty much the opposite of my normal play style.
Mhm.
I told you already. I got derailed like 3 times, so I just said screw it.
I mean, that's what happens when when people draft weird too, because like literally Pasty drafted Pelipper. Like what?
Yeah,
Like I don't know. I mean, is there much you want to say? Like you have good, like your hazard setters are really good. I mean, Ferretforn's always a great hazard setter, but once that dies because it has no recovery, like you're literally
yeah,
relying on Toxapex that just carry, and then you'll have no Earthquake switch-ins because your only earthquake immunity is Staraptor. So your ground switch-ins are lacking, so is your rock. But you can definitely pick up something in transactions. I think a lot of people need to do some transactions,
Yeah,
and but I mean,
I got a plan for some transactions.
hmm
I'll wait it out.
yeah, okay. So I'm gonna skip to I think 10 now. Still interchangeable, by the way. We have T-Bale. Now, actually, I like T-Bale teams. There's just like whole like weird things in it, right? Like he has Ninetales. I don't think Ninetales fits into this team either. Like, why you have a fairy type, so you don't need Ninetales for a fairy type. Yet you also
Yeah,
don't need an ice type because that's just not used. And Aurora Veil, like wow, that's so helpful. Like I get you're like, let me Aurora Veil, right? And then I'm gonna switch into Charizard and then have my son out. Like that's a decent game plan, but like you know how predictable that is? It's not that hard for me to set up rocks on your Ninetales. Like especially if I have, let's say, an extra drill, like it's or a Tyranitar per se. It's not that hard to abuse weather. Aegislash doesn't like Charizard at all. I mean Charizard Y because the drought. Latios Latios fits very well in this team, and Latios
yeah,
is I feel like it's going to be its MVP because Latios with Sun and it hits rain, it's going to be such a bulky default. Like I don't know, Latios is probably most likely going to be the MVP of this team, in my opinion.
yeah. Latios is gonna be amazing. I think the Zerkatry is gonna be scary here, but
I would prefer a
I don't know.
faster electric type for him though, like Raikou or Jolteon if they were there. Like that would have been better for me.
Yeah, that's true. Zerkatry gets the cool tech like the Z Electric terrain if he wants, or
hmm
something like that.
Yeah, he has
I,
offensive power, but most like the other drafts didn't. But it seems his defensive power really lacks, other than Latias and yeah, I guess
yeah,
Sylveon. But Aegislash is like to me, this should have been a team based around Aegislash, not Megazord Y. You know, like he should have drafted a Mega or whatever. Because Aegislash is a really good mon, and the rest of the team kind of negates what it does, other than Sylveon. So.
yeah. Like I can see kind of mixed a couple of different strategies with the Zard Y pick. He
Mhm.
got Venusaur and Shift Tree, which are gonna both do great in Sun,
Mhm.
but
I mean, they're not
like the
super threatening mons at the same time, even with Sun, because like Sun, personally, Sun is after, yeah, it's the third weakest. Like Sand and Rain are really good, and then Sun is like okay, like you're powering up fire type moves, so that's always a good thing. But like the chlorophyll users aren't like amazing mons, so.
well, I can see I can see it doing well, especially since T-Bell's in control of it. You know, he can make some wild ass plays, but
Mhm.
I don't know. It's a weird team overall.
Yeah, I mean his fire switch-ins are other than Latias good. I mean not like his fire switch-ins are bleh, other than Latias. Ice, same thing with ice. The rock, rock's gonna be difficult for him. I think Blastoise is a good spinner, but there's no reason to have Blastoise. I would have preferred him to get a different water type, but yeah, really that's all my thoughts.
Yeah, that's about it.
Oh god, I accidentally skipped ahead. But we have Freddy. I know.
Well, they're all interchangeable.
Yeah, so they're all interchangeables. But we have Freddy right now. So, so if Freddy did not have Darmanitan, I think he would have been much more lower. But his team really works around Darmanitan. I think Manectric, like I mean, especially Hydreigon. Like Hydreigon's gonna have to play a lot of defensive. But like his slow U-turn, like I feel like that also works. Gyarados is a good fire switch and actually can threaten stuff out because then it's like D-Dance, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
Or Z. Zoroark's always fun to use. Scoliped's can always be a game winner. It's like Volcarona in a sense. Smeargle is, although an unmon, does help this team with webs and Nuzzle and that type of stuff.
yeah.
Mudsail is kind of whack here. It doesn't really fit in, but it's still a decent mon. Same thing with Gerdor.
I can see he wanted something to switch into electric types for Gyarados,
Yeah.
but it's pretty much all it does.
I feel like he could even win more hyper offensive with this, to be honest. Because like Mutsu and Girder, you're like, just look at the rest of your team. Like this is a very hyper offensive team, and you have Mutsu and Girder. You're like,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
I'm like, what?
Mudstone can spiral with the stamina body press that it has now,
Mm-hmm.
but even then,
Yeah, I mean, even Manectric's electric immunity, but like personally, if it was me, like I'd play. Like let me say I bring Darmanitan, Gyarados, Manectric, Hydreigon, and like Smeargle to a match. Like if my Gyarados is getting threatened out with the electric type, I'm gonna switch right into Manectric because um, lightning rod and then Omega and that type of stuff. But yeah, and
yeah, but that's only a one-use thing, and then it's
yeah, even then.
resisted, but Manectric's defenses.
I mean, I guess if you wanted to drop Whimsicott for actually a defensive grass type, then his core is not that bad actually.
Oh yeah, then it would be kind of wild at that point.
Yeah. Defoggers, like Hydreigon's gonna have to like play really defensive. So Roost to Defog and then U-turn and then probably Draco or Dark Pulse. So and then he was gonna run into like a situation where he's like, I don't want to bring Defog or I don't want to bring Roost. So he's gonna have to bring Whimsicott and like force Whimsicott in because he needs
Yeah,
a rocker for Gyarados and Darmanitan and Scolipede to a sense. So
yeah, I think that's a big thing too, is his hazard removal, like you were saying. Like, it's Hydreigon and Whimsicott.
yeah, it's a bit iffy. I mean, all
Or
right.
there's so many better things. If anything, I think the Whimsicott switch it out for, like, as dumb as it sounds, Eldegoss.
Yeah, I could even.
Like, you get that bulkier grass type, it still gets rapid spin, it gets Regenerator to switch out.
I actually like
Because
that.
with,
Yeah.
yeah, with Darm, like, you don't want those rocks.
Yeah, he's not that fairy weak. Actually, I mean, Dragon weak. But, you know, I think he could use a different fairy type too as well. So, switch out the
Yeah.
Elgidas and then probably switch Girder out to anything. I don't know why he has 4 dark resists, yet he doesn't need any dark resists. That's kind of funny.
No clue.
Yeah, I mean fire resist as well, so he's gonna have to address that because I know Gyarados and Hydreigon are like he's putting so much defensive pressure on Hydreigon, which is
Yeah.
that's gonna get annoying. Like he's gonna be so down so fast, and he's gonna have to push his offensive pressure, and like Manectric can't offensively hurt a Mon. Like let me say it does, but it's not that powerful. Other than like Darmanitan is his only like Mon that can like there's small checks for it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but there's a lot of potential with this team. Okay. Next up, we have Ruby. I think this is 7-6 or around this way.
It's some number in the middle.
Yeah. Again, these are still all interchangeable until we say no. But
Yeah.
this team would have been in probably my top 5 if it didn't have Rillaboom or Megadino or Appleton.
Well, you're hating on the Rillaboom so much.
I
It's
love
such a good
Rillaboom though.
mon.
It is a good mod, but here's what I say: it's a good mod because of grassy terrain, right? And it's slow U-turner and that and so on, right? And it has a
It's not even that slow. It can use Scarf. It can.
yeah,
It has a bunch of options.
it does
It,
have
it's
options, but you're gonna
it's
want
more
to.
diverse than what you think.
But since it's a bulky grass type, right? It's one of those bulky grass types who will actually have U-turn. So it's like Bulu with a U-turn and plays more defensively with Leech Seed and that type of stuff. So, but Rillaboom has grassy terrain, so you're gonna naturally you would have wanted to slow U-turn into like Excadrill. So like say he sent out a fire type and then or you just predict the U-turn on the fire type and then you switch out the Excadrill. Well, since grassy terrain is up, that Earthquake's not gonna be doing that much damage. I mean obviously it's still Excadrill's like
Yeah,
attack
it's
stat.
bad on this team. I can see he was going for sand, but he just kind of fell short. I
Yeah.
think he abandoned the sand plan halfway through.
Which I didn't like because I feel like with Excadrill, even though Excadrill is so good without sand, you just like you don't need. You could have yeah, she could have sold sword on the sand part, but like still don't drop Rillaboom for another grass type. Like grass types are good for this draft.
Yeah,
Like
the Rillaboom hurts the sand. Excadrill is the single best lead in Gen 8 right now.
yeah, like Excadrill is such like a top 32 draft mon right now, and same thing with Darmanitan. Like they have brute strength, and with
Oh yeah.
X with Excadrill's rapid spin, like this team has so much. So what I suggest is a steel type because her fairy weaknesses are so apparent, and Excadrill is not a fairy switch in. Like
Yeah.
don't let anyone tell you that, especially on this team. Don't let anyone tell you that.
Yeah, I think get rid of the Appleton
Mm-hmm.
for a fairy resist, and then I think she missed out big by grabbing Jolteon instead of Dracozolt.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that's another dragon type, but
I think it would have been alright.
its Sandrush Bolt Beak is just insane.
I also think Jolteon's not bad here. It's a decent mon. Darmanitan's also pretty good here. Greninja fits okay. Audino, I mean, I actually like Noivern and Zatu here, and Audino is, I don't know. I don't
The
feel well
Mega
about Audino.
Audino is
It's whack. I don't.
something special.
It's whack. I don't know why this is here, but it doesn't even. I don't even think it gets Moonblast, doesn't it? It just gets Dazzler. Oh
Yeah.
god. I'm just gonna move on to Jacob. So we had your brother really high. Your brother is like the last. No, he's the second to last that can be interchangeable. But on my personal list, what is it? Plasma Cat. No. Plasma Cat. Pasty. You. T-Bell. Freddy. Ruby. So this is, I believe, like 6.
Yeah.
No, this is 7.
7.
And yeah, I believe it's 7. 7 or 6. So on my personal list, obviously still interchangeable, but I actually like this team. Like Mega Beedrill, Zero Aura. The only real apparent weakness is ground, and I guess yeah, just really ground
Yeah.
types. I think Milotic's a good physical defensive mon. Cragnole is not a ground immunity because most ground types get coverage for rock. All ground
Yeah.
types do, so it's not going to be staying in. I know Cragnole could switch into the ground type, but if it's easy to predict a switch in.
Depending on the set, he could switch in and then threaten it out with like Ice Beam.
Oh yeah, most sets it will, but if he gets it wrong, then that's Cragnole's defensive like Rockslide right 100% or OKO it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I like the Grimmsnarl pick. I think Grimmsnarl's a fun mon.
I think it's a fun mon. I just didn't really see much use of it here though. I was like, you could probably do better. Like I don't know, better maybe like a Rillaboom on this team would be bang. Like
Yeah. His team likes the screens is the big thing.
mm-hmm. I
It likes the screens that Grimmsnarl sets up, and then it still hits like a truck.
Yeah, the thing is with this team doesn't like other than Komodo and maybe Rachi, it doesn't need screens though because Zygarde, Mega Beedrill, and Zero Aura are all like revenge killer mons, and they're really good at that. I mean, maybe Zero Aura. I mean, Zero Aura likes screens, yes, but Mega Beedrill and Zygarde are just here without the screens.
Yeah.
Hold up, I'm getting a call. But yeah,
Yeah, just answer that call in the middle of recording. It's all good.
I'm not answering. No, keep talking.
Keep talking. I hate the Diancie pick.
Really?
I absolutely hate it. I
Right.
think Diancie is such an unmon if it's not Mega.
It is, but here, I mean, other than the ground weakness, that should definitely be covered soon. It's a good rocker. I
Yeah.
think
Well,
it's a decent rocker. I mean, it's a good fairy switch in for most of his weaknesses as well.
it's good to switch into dragon moves and stuff, and it sets the rocks. I hate it so much.
Mm,
It's just Mega Carbink until it megas.
yeah, I guess. All right, so we're gonna switch off to Snowball.
Snowball.
Um, I'm gonna let you talk about this first, cause I could talk.
So
Oh yeah, you talk about it first. My fault.
biggest thing with it is like I don't even know, man.
Um, let me say
Uh,
it.
it's got four fire weaknesses, which is kind of bad, but it's not the worst by like it's there's a reason it's at the top of the interchangeable ones on your list.
Yeah, it's it has so this like the speed tiers, right? Like his speeds don't really have any power to them, but I know where Revolvi's coming up from, like webs, and once that webs comes, Mega Metachamp Victini, they just go wild, right? With
Oh
Bandit Victini, like, and his defensive core with Amoongu's Rotom, Donphan, Persian, even Persian, yeah, Tentacruel, Rabomi, not Rabomi, Corviknight, and Cobalion, think good defensive mods. Even Victini's to extent. It's just once them webs go down, and I get why he has rapid spin. Like that's a good idea to have rapid spin when you're just trying to get webs out.
yeah,
But once his webs go down, he's kind of in a very hard trouble because he cannot revenge kill for his life other than a Scarf Victini. And I don't think
yeah,
he's going to want to break Scarf Victini when he knows he'll get webs in. So, yeah, that's really my bid on it. I mean, ground weakness is there. This is a very recurring theme that ground weakness is there. But he has Corviknight and Rotom
oh
Wash, which are good immunities.
yeah. Ground's always going to be a thing that's there because it's only resisted by two types, and then the rest it's either neutral or super effective. And then flying type is immune, obviously, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, time for
So
the fun teams.
yeah, so we have Tepig, who for I wouldn't say I think Tepig is definitely better than all the other teams, but this is still a decent team. Like it's not amazing because of the weaknesses of some of like the holes it lacks, but like it's too good not to be decent
Yeah,
because of Dragon
the
Pole, Mega Aerodactyl, Scizor. Like he has momentum, and not only does he has momentum, he has heavy hitters. Um, I don't like the Dragozolt. I don't like the Dragozolt. I don't think why. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like why is this
it
here?
it's weird because about halfway through the draft, he got Dougie, Dragozolt. Sandaconda is like a really bad sand setter.
Yeah. Oh,
Like it's almost like halfway through he decided, let me get some sand thrown onto this team just to add to the absurdity of it.
yeah. I mean, Mega Aerodactyl, Tough Claws. It's a good team. It's just a
Yeah,
bit
it's
weird.
definitely a good team.
His
There's no
defoggers are
question.
not there though. That's one of the biggest thing. Like Rotom Heat is not gonna be your freaking defogger every match.
Well, Scizor brings defog, which
I know, but
he can alternate between the two.
I don't know. I like Bandit Scizor. I like my Okaberry, Roost, Curse sets. Like I don't want my Scizor to just carry defog. Like just one less move to give out. You know.
Yeah.
He has a lot of bug weakness. Bug resists, but only has one bug weakness, which I'm like, what the frick are you doing? And that's Drapion as your bug weakness.
I don't think
Or not
that's I
Drapion.
don't think that was planned.
Yeah, it's me too. But or Celebi, but he wants Celebi to be full threat. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm just gonna move on. So next I have Emp. I think I actually like his team because it's like actually decent, like good. Just looking at this team, you're like, what are this teams? You're like, Celesteal, Zygarde. What am I going to be doing?
Yeah,
Arachnid helps with webs. Toxicity is a good mon. I've used that for a mock. It's fun. Subtiles, okay. Mega Azelf is Azelf. Floor just supports Zygarde, Celesteal. Like that core is crazy. Bronzong's
yeah,
also
it's
annoying. So yeah,
why did anybody let him draft that?
I don't know. I don't know why Celesteal didn't. Like I know why I didn't pick Celesteal because I picked. Who did I pick? I picked Teapot, which I was like, okay.
Yeah, the teapot's fun,
But I was like, I look
but
back at it, I'm like, oh, I should pick Celesteal. But mm, I don't know. I like the team. You're not bringing steel types on this team. Like, you're not. He has defoggers. Like, he has the rocks, hazards. Like,
yeah, it's all super balanced, and then he's got an amazing cleric in Florges.
Yeah, one thing you can say is just other. He has no raw power. I mean, I guess Lee Storm and Draco from Sceptile. But other than that, like Zygarde's gonna have to set up before he can start like really hitting things.
Yeah, I mean the specs toxicity is a thing.
Yeah, I only would only run Scarf for Toxicity. I mean, Specs with webs, that's a good idea, but
Yeah,
again,
which is why he has the Araquanid,
mm,
I'm sure.
yeah, and Arachnid actually fits well here too, so good for him. Something's happening.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. So next we have Cody. Something fell over. I don't know what just happened, but okay. Um, Cody's
Yeah.
team is pretty basic, and it's a really good team though. It's like more of like a Zift, Reggie team, right? You have like
Yeah.
Hoopa, Lopunny, Mega Lopunny, Zapdos, Serena, even Klefki. Like it's a decent team. Piloswine there for Ice Shard. It, it'll, he has he has Revenge Killers with Lopunny. He has good.
Yeah, revenge killers like I'm not as brushed up. What's the deal with the Raboot pick?
I don't know. I think it's just a meme. I said this team like when I first talked about it, I was like this team. When I first looked at it, I was like this team is good all around except for Raboot. Like there's no reason for Raboot to be here. I mean it's 94 speed somehow, so I was like, well,
All right then.
yeah. I mean he supports Hoopa so well here. It's crazy. Actually,
Oh yeah.
Hoopa's gonna go off, especially Scarf. I mean, this Hoopa can say. I don't know why he didn't go for Z Hoopa. That's confuses me. Durant is a good mon, especially first impression now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Durant first impression's gonna be wild.
I think it should
I
be
think
tier three. I don't know why it was tier four.
yeah, it's kind of busted. No, this team it has a lot of things that can spiral out of control if you're not being careful.
Mhm.
Like the Serena, if it gets that speed boost off a rapid spin, then it can start sweeping.
Yeah, I don't. I look at this team and I'm like, it doesn't have a lot of holes. It's not absurdly great, but it's good. It's like another good, just
Yeah.
good team.
Well, that kind of tells you the state of this draft. If one of the top teams is all right.
Yeah. I mean, all right. So we're gonna go up to the next team, which is second or first, if you're not counting me, Jolty. So I actually really love Jolte's team. Other than it being one dimensional, which is the only reason why it's I would say not first in all categories. It's just
Yeah.
it's so well rounded. I think this might be one of the perfect raid teams you could possibly draft other than Politoed and Raikou. But this team is so well. Melmetal loves this team as well. The Melmetal will love the rain.
Oh, dude, Melmetal is
Like like he doesn't have Scizor, but he has Melmetal. So it just works. I couldn't see a draft where I don't know. Torn fits well with Hurricane. He has decent rockers. Runer, the Rune, Runeregis. I don't know. I don't know how to.
Regius,
Runir. I can't pronounce it, but
the ugly one.
the ugly one fits decently well here. Omatease is always a good Fairymon. Shaman actually likes this team as well. It's a nice team.
Shaman was sniped.
The only thing that I could say that he does lack is hazard removal because Armaldo's Armaldo, and then Tornadus, like Torn doesn't always want to run defog, but like it seems like
If
it's always
he's
gonna.
running defog every week on Torn, then something's wrong.
Yeah, but I
But
mean it's not
Jolte's a
horrible.
smart dude.
Yeah, I think he'll do. I think he does fine. This is personally, I don't think this is a Jolty team. Maybe Jolty will feel otherwise, but I think this is a team that he's going to end up liking, and I think
Yeah.
he's. I think he could definitely win this league. But yeah, last but not least, we have the best team out here, PKM Adam. Now, I'm gonna let you talk about it and just.
So you have a lot of like offensive pressure. Like like there are a lot of mons that you make the wrong play and you win.
Yeah,
Like your opponent makes the wrong play, they win. Like you win immediately. And if you make the wrong play, you still probably win.
that's what I
The
like about this team because defensively, like my bulk is crazy because Copperjaw, Bulu, Land not crazy, but with my offensive monster, they have both to them.
yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing with your team is that you have good defense, but it's not insane.
Yeah, I didn't
Like
want it
you're
to be
still gonna
insane
get
though.
chipped away.
Yeah, it's very easy to chip my team, but the reason for that with like Starmie and that like I have Chinchou and for certain mons, and that's the only reason I need because for those
Yeah,
certain mons, those are the mons where I can't fully like go hyper offensive against, and that's why I Chinchou for like electric and um, some other type of immunities.
yeah. The teapot.
Teapot's gonna go off with this team because it just with I have dark resist and then obviously Bulu's there for helping
Yeah,
recovery. Lando's just there, you know. Lando's like, I'm gonna just draft you in round 7 and just I
yeah.
don't know
That
how
was
I don't know how I was like when I was like round 6 round 7 I was like okay. I'm so excited. I'm excited to use Copperjaw with Sheer Force and its high offense. I
oh
don't
yeah.
know, high attack. I don't know.
I think unfortunately it's kind of sad because heavy slam isn't boosted by sheer force.
Yeah.
So, but that's still its best steel type move.
Hey, if it had an Iron Head, that'd be crazy.
It does get Iron Head, but
Hey,
it's still heavier than it is.
actually, yeah, probably. But even then, like, its coverage moves will probably be sheer force a bit boosted, and it's a good. It seems like a good rocker. Mega Glalie was
Yeah,
just there for points, but it's also it fits in the speed for speed tier most for the most part, and it's an ice type, and ice types are good offensive types if I need it. Starmie is a great rapid spinner. Swallow just fits right in. Like
yeah.
I'm so excited to use Swallow this season again.
You've literally had Swellow in the past like 3 drafts I've been in you with.
Hey, I'm I think Swallow is a wonderful mon.
Look,
It's one of the best revenge killers out there.
yeah. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging the kink. All right.
So I'm gonna reassess this again. I all these are opinions. Most of these are interchangeable. This draft hasn't been the best draft, and um, in all, I mean, I'm excited for the season still. Don't get me wrong. I do think that anyone could still win this, even though I'm gonna put the pressure on myself to say I would win.
I don't know, man.
I don't think.
I'm gonna knock that ego down a peg week 1.
I hope you do.
I,
So, yeah, I hope you do. I hope you knock my ego down. I
oh,
can't
dude,
wait.
I'm feeling it. My mojo from season 1 is back.
You mojo. I don't know what season 1 Thanos is, so you're not to surprise
Season
me.
1 Thanos came in and took over a team that was -10 and almost brought it to playoffs.
I actually was gonna drop Lando during the grace period, but I was like, I'll see. I have this one mon that would actually fit in the team better, but I was like, I want to kind of use Lando for a bit and see what's going on,
Just
especially
keep it
week 1.
around to flex and then drop it when you don't need it anymore.
Yeah, especially week 1 because you have Coco. I was like, it's like I have Lando, so you're gonna have to force prep for my Lando, even if you
Look,
like no, like I don't really want to use it. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna pressure him.
dude, I got all but 2 Mons prep for you already, and the Lando is the least of my concerns.
Well, maybe I won't even bring the Lando. Maybe I will. Who knows?
No, you'll bring it.
I'm not.
You'll bring it. You have to.
Hey, I don't think I have to. All right.
All right.
Let's not get too into this, but all right. So that's it. Thanks, Thanos, for coming to help. I should upload
No
this
problem.
later tonight, probably. It's actually 40 minutes. That's crazy. Okay.
Damn.
So it's your boy PK. If you're watching this, babe, if you're still watching this, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.